What up, doe? What up, doe? Welcome to another episode of Chopping It Up with Uncle Sean, the podcast. Yeah. Look here. I like to ask questions. I like to form, I like to base a lot of uh, my subjects on a question, in the form of a question, because I think when you ask the question, people get less offended rather than just making a statement. But if I ask a question, I think it's easier to be able to tell your opinion because you're allowing other people to also share their opinion. It's not just you forcing your opinion down their throat. So today, the question that we're going to get around to is, have women nowadays talk themselves into being eternally single? Have women nowadays talk themselves into being eternally single? And what I mean by that is that I see a lot of these little videos when I'm scrolling down Facebook Reels or on YouTube or whatever, passing the time, and you hear these women making all these crazy demands and imposing themselves on men, young men. Now I'm gonna say this: I'm not in the dating scene. I'm in a committed relationship with a nice woman, and Lord have mercy if I had to be out there with the way some of these people are talking. I'm not sure if that's really the way it's going in the streets, but a lot of times what you see online is basically mimicking what's going on in the streets, or vice versa. But if what I'm seeing is what's going on in the streets, it's terrible. Because you got women who are obviously, to me, broke, demanding high dollar things from men who find them attractive enough to ask them out on a date or whatever. And it's like, either you're prostituting yourself for whatever it is that you feel like you should get for a man simply trying to take you out on a date, or you're running them off before you even get a chance to get to know them. You got women out here who are so delusional that they be like, well, if a man wants to date me, he's got to make $100,000 a year. And if you ever listen to our brother, dear deceased brother Kevin Samuels, he let you know that only about 10% of all men make $100,000 or more. So these men that you like, what I really think that these women really mean is either they're setting their goal so high that they don't, that's their excuse for not having a man. They either know that they're not suitable for a good man, that no man's really going to want to be with them because of whatever it is that's wrong with her, that she finds that's wrong with herself, or you think that you're going to get an NBA player, an NFL player, an MLB player, a professional boxer, a hockey player, a record producer, somebody who you feel like is making this big money. You have delusion. Is that a word? Well, it's a word now. You've delusioned yourself into thinking that some rich dude is going to come and sweep you off your feet, pay all your bills, and you're never going to have to do nothing but sit around and change clothes and do what you want to do all day. Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm hearing young ladies talking about what kind of dates they not gonna go on. Not going on a coffee date. I'm not going to the park and have a walk, take a walk. What? What's wrong with y'all? I mean, are you losing your mind out there? And then you're telling these young men that they have to take you to a place and spend an ungodly amount of money on food for you on a first date. Let me tell you something. I know some women who got it, who got their own stuff. I know some women who don't accept nothing but the best. Some women close to me. And let me tell you something. Women who are used to going to the places that these young ladies are talking about, you have to take them on for. They don't. They don't. They don't tell no man, you got to take me here or there, whatever. They don't do that. You know why? It's just like that old saying: if you have to ask the price of something, then you probably can't afford it. In other words, if you have to ask a man to take you somewhere nice, you probably never been nowhere nice. Because let me tell you something. If you're used to going to Applebee's, but yet you got some of your lying ass friends around you telling you, "Ooh, girl, I had this man. He took me to Ruth Chris, and this one over here took me to Morton Steakhouse, and and they ain't been nowhere but down to the local buffet and back to the crib for some horizontal hijinks." Because I've heard women gas each other up and lie about what they were getting from such and such, and I knew it was a lie. So I didn't. I know women do that. Just like men tell lies, women tell lies too. Men will lie to their friends. Some guys will do that. Some women will do that and gas their friends up to try to start acting like they think their friend has got it going on. You know, the black community needs to come together and ladies, you have to want to be led because man, I really didn't want to go here, but I'm gonna go there because I'm Uncle Sean, god damn it. You know? And I just gotta tell it like it is. This last generation or two of young men, the mere fact that you women are online and talking out like this and talking all this and trying to use Jedi mind tricks into getting ridiculous things is because these young men were raised by single mothers for the most part. For the most part. And a lot of these young men don't know how to handle a situation before it gets out of hand like that because even my son, 21 years old, don't know how to walk away from a woman. You try to tell these young men, look, let me tell you something. If you've got a good job, whatever a good job is to you, and you've got your own place, and you've got your own transportation, and you're paying your bills, man, you doing it. You doing it. You ain't got no reason to be ashamed if you not making enough money to go buy a expensive handbag for a woman that you don't even hardly know. So the women who are making these demands, most of them are poor. Are you, as a woman, a young lady, are you running young men off because of your unrealistic, inconsiderate demands? Now, you know darn well, don't you, I'm talking to you young ladies, don't you go to Applebee's with your girlfriends. Don't you go to Chili's with your girlfriends. Don't you eat at Red Lobster with your girlfriends and Olive Garden and all them other chain restaurants and Cheesecake Factory. You know darn well that you eat at all those places and be happy when you do it. But yet, a dude can't take you there on a first date because of what? Because what? What? You scared your friends gonna see you there? Instead of being happy that somebody asked you out on a date, instead of just asking you for some sex, because let me tell you something, ladies. The men that are making $100,000 plus, $100,000 dollars plus, more than likely, number one, they don't have time to play games with you. Number two, they probably got more women on their line than they know what to do with. So you ain't nothing special because you're just a beggar. And really, to tell the truth, when you get online and you be talking like that, I think that you should be embarrassed. You know that's on there forever, and one of these days, one of your kids gonna run across that and be like, "Oh, mama, you was a hoochie." You think you think you're speaking class, but you're really speaking trash. You ain't. I don't get it. Really, to tell the truth, I mean, I know it's some. Listen, first of all, I don't date men, so you know If people be like, well, why don't you talk about the men? Well, I don't date men. I date women. So I don't pay attention to men that much unless they doing something unmanly. But in this particular situation that I'm talking about, I'm asking the question about the women because the women are the ones that's on the all the social media talking about what standards they got that are ridiculous about how much money a man got to make and where he's got to take her and what he's got to buy and what he bills of hers he needs to pay for and all of this ridiculousness. And it's like, wait a minute, who does that? First of all, in this economy, it's hard for 99% of us to just maintain what we got going on at our own home. Some of you young ladies need two jobs or a job. Being cute, first of all, it wears off. You're only cute for so long. And number two, it mostly just gets you, because listen, and a lot of guys know this. There's nothing easier, no woman easier to sleep with than a gold digger. That's the easiest sex you ever get. Once you know she's selling it, because that's what a gold digger is. A gold digger is a prostitute that doesn't believe she's a prostitute. That's what you are. So basically, once you know that, oh, she's a so-called gold digger, which usually what I found out in my life that most gold diggers are not gold diggers at all. They're copper diggers. Most of them ain't even smart enough to know what gold is, the difference between gold and copper or tin. Trust me, it's ridiculous. And most gold diggers are short sighted. See, you can tell a desperate chick when she try to get everything all in one day. Oh, you want to do the pick you up, take you shopping, take you to some place to eat that you could never in your wildest dream afford. It would probably you probably had to file bankruptcy, and then I guess drop you off so your broke boyfriend can come over there and smash. Y'all women, boy, it's a shame. So, are you, as a young lady, what is your agenda? Like, what is the agenda to, like, is it just to get a fancy meal? I literally heard a woman, and this was an older black woman. This woman was probably about 40, talking about, I ain't going on no coffee date. We need to go eat. Is that what it is? Y'all all hungry, but you don't want to eat at Applebee's. But you so hungry that you couldn't meet a dude for coffee. See, I'm gonna tell you, do you know why a man asked you to go to coffee? It ain't because he's cheap. It's because he don't know if he wants to spend more than 15, 20 minutes with your ass. That's the reason why he asked you on a coffee date. See, coffee date, if he likes you, then that leads to dinner date. But you don't have the patience because you're hungry. You starving like Marvin. Not only are you starving like Marvin, but then you don't want to like be instead of going on the coffee date with him, your ass went to probably Burger King or somewhere. But he couldn't even take you to Red Lobster. You would have been offended with your hungry ass. And you know, you women that's over 35 with children, who Lord, please just shut the hell up. Cause you don't have nothing. Listen, listen. You're a single mother, you're 40 years old, you got three kids by two or three different dudes, and you're making demands. Let's see how that works out for you. Because for most of you, it's going to be some lonely weekends and lonely nights. You might have somebody come over every now and then. Boy, when they look, because look, listen, let's just face it, black women are the most beautiful women on earth, especially foundational black American. American black women are fine, are beautiful, they age well. So you got some 40 and 50-year-old women, black women, who are absolutely gorgeous. And then if they are happen to be even in shape on top of it, they just, man, gorgeous, beautiful, radiant, mesmerizing. But it is what it is. You know, I think compromise is in order these days. I mean, think about it. You know, you're if you're 40 or 50 or headed towards 60 and you're still single, who the hell wants to be trying to date at that age? I would think that you would just want to be like, okay, look, God dog it, you know, have three bare minimum standards and stick with that. And I think a lot of people could at least couple up because I mean, with the way things are, it's going to be necessary. I believe. I don't think most people are going to be able to make it alone. You know, when they start cutting stuff off, you know, EBT and Section 8, and I'm not saying that us black people are the largest recipients of those programs, but when they start cutting off programs that help people, and many of our people, you know, enough receive that, and it lowers people's lifestyle even lower than it may be, and it causes some desperation, which dries up crime and so forth and so on. And it also causes misery because I don't think there would be anything worse for a parent than having a hungry child that you can't feed. I don't think there couldn't be too much worse than that. That's got to be heartbreaking. You got a child that's 4, 5, 6 years old, and You can't tell them. I mean, it's hard to tell a little kid, "Hey, we broke. We don't." They hungry. They gonna cry and all of that until they get something to eat. Now, women came out with these little sayings. I guess they came up songs or whatever. I could do bad by myself. You usually do. Yep, you usually do. Now, a, a lot of women choose to like men who don't like to work. That's your fault. If you're a grown ass woman, why would you even go out with a dude that doesn't have a job or some kind of income that he provides for himself that comes through on a regular basis that's legal? You go to work. Why would you talk to a dude that don't? That's stupid. Number two, why would you lay down and have children with a man who you know is not going to provide for you or the children? Because he ain't been working. Only thing he been laying pipe, but he ain't no plumber, so he ain't getting no 75, $80 an hour. No, he's spending your check, eating up your kids' cereal. And then after you run through a few of those type of guys, then you want $100,000 man. He got to come in and he got to be spending. He got to be on his. Oh man, you should want to pay my bills. You should want to take care of this other man's kids. That's what the kind of crap y'all talking. Where do you think that's going to get you? Men ain't putting up with that nowadays. Especially men of means. Not about to let no woman browbeat me into taking care of her and her three uh 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 illegitimate children. Shit. And men are rebelling against this type of stuff, and rightly so. Now, on the other hand, men should not be like using women like they're disposable. There has to be a balance. We have to get back to uh, family type of a feel. It's hard to do that nowadays because everybody's got their head down in their phone, and people do everything online and over the computer, and it's not a lot of human contact. You know, um, you can live now in a subdivision or in a neighborhood and not know none of your neighbors. You know that's crazy. When I grew up, we knew everybody on our street and two streets over both ways. That's just how it was. Now, I can't think of how many places I've lived and I didn't know nobody. You know, everybody afraid to even get to know their neighbors because, you know, I don't want them in my business and all of this, that, and the third. But you want them in your business when somebody climbing through your window while you at work. So you better speak to your neighbors and get to know them a little bit. Even if you live in a so-called nice neighborhood or whatever, because That's where people go to steal sometime. I want to go steal out the Po neighborhood if I was going to steal. I mean, for if I'm not a thief, but if I was, I certainly wouldn't want to go steal out the raggedy house. I want to go to the nice house where they probably got nice things for me to steal. So people live in nice neighborhoods and they stop knowing their neighbors. They don't know, like, you know, I'll be honest with you, I don't know my neighbors. I mean, I know a couple of their names, but I don't know. And they don't know me. And that's not necessarily the best thing for none of us. And ladies, what I'm saying is, I think that, because I know some very beautiful women who are single, and some of them, I'm just gonna be real. Some of them live in these like small towns, and they got two or three other little small towns around, and everybody kind of knows everybody, and you've been living there your whole life, and you done screwed everybody there. You got three babies by three different dudes, and there's some question on paternity on one of them. And here you are, 40, 41, 42 years old, looking good as hell. Ooh, you look good. Beautiful. But only thing people look at you as is something to lay up with. They don't take you serious because no man wants to go out with his old lady and keep bumping into dudes he know didn't have relations with her. And when you live in these smaller places and even some of these bigger cities, you know, I mean, listen, I have lived in a small town, and I know for a fact that you can literally know any person who you want to know whole history. Now, it might not be 100% accurate, but I'm telling you right now, it's somebody you could ask, man, what's up with old girl over there? Oh, yo, let me see. When she was 10, she went out with Jerry, and then they broke up. And I'm telling you, they will go down the whole line. I don't know. And maybe that's a little bit in a way, but you know, for men to be like, oh man, I can't be with her because she been with, you know. But hey, that's just the way it is. I don't listen. That's just the way it is. If you've been with a lot of men that other men know, especially, men are less likely to wife you under those circumstances. That's just the way it is. And so some women have to move. You got to move. You need to go to a larger city. But here's the thing, don't go somewhere else and repeat the same behavior because you will get the same results. And in a city, it get around just as fast as it do in the country. Because the other females, if you new in town and you looking good and everything, the other females are gonna be looking at you, trying to figure out what's up, whose man you trying to take. Yeah, I have been on jobs. I was at this one job. It was like a temp job, and this was years ago. And it was a call center, and there was about, let's say there was 100 people in the call center. about 85 of them were women, and there was about 15 men. And this one brother, no, I don't even think it was 15 men. I think it might have been like 8 of us. But this one brother, he plowed through about 15, 16 of those broads up in there in a very short amount of time, within months. Because they all wanted him. And they were willing to compete over the one guy. And then he took advantage of that and plowed through them one after the other until they, I guess, had a sister girl meeting or something and was like, okay, he can't get no more pussy up in here. He didn't fuck too many of us. And I remember one of those chicks that he plowed through trying to get at me. And I'm just looking at her like she's literally like offering me a number, and I'm like, baby, I'm good. I don't know. Uh-uh. Nope. Cause I seen your behavior. I was watching you and the rest of them, and I seen the treachery and everything that went on. I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. And then after that, they some of them, I guess they was embarrassed. you know, and that's what happens when you want, I guess, the $100,000 guy, because it ain't that many, or the $1 million guy. It's a lot of regular, hard-working dudes out here that would make you a good dude, but you run him off with your mouth. You're making ridiculous demands, talking mean, acting masculine. Try being sweet. Oh, I can't be sweet and nice. Just try. With the right person. See, you can't do the wrong thing. I mean, you can't do the right thing with the wrong person. Every man that hollers at you is not worth your time. Of course. You should have standards. But your standard shouldn't be so high that nobody can really reach it. And it shouldn't be so high that it keeps you alone when you don't want to be alone. Now, there are people who would really prefer to be alone. And you know what? When you announce it to people, I don't need no man. I can be by myself. That's a cry for help. People who want to be alone just stay in the house and draw the shades and be alone. You don't have to make no announcement to be alone. All you got to do is just be alone. Shit. What's the announcement? No, no, no. You want some company when you do that. You want somebody to try to get at you or try to be with you. Because if you want to, I know some motherfucking hermits, you'll never see them. You don't hear from them. When somebody truly wants to be alone, they be alone. And they do not have to make no announcement, make no soliloquies and speeches and all of that. They don't have to take out an ad in the daily newspaper. They don't have to send out an email bomb. All they do is just go into their little hovel or hole or whatever and be there. So quit lying and quit lying to yourself. And quit thinking that you're going to try to sell some used cooch for new cooch prices. Some of y'all got more bodies than a hitman. And you think a nigga can't tell? Oh, if you could only hear the barber shop conversations and the conversations that real homies have amongst each other, when especially when you out there in the game, in the in the dating game, in the realm of trying to get some hoes. No, you know, back in them younger days. And anyway, you know, I guess women have their forms of disappointment with men, and but I think that all women think they got good cooch. No, 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 you don't. No, no, no. But sometimes what you need to have really is not about good coochie and all of that type of stuff, because think about it, you're 40, 50, going up towards 60 years old. You want somebody you can talk to and somebody who wants to be around your ass. Somebody who's not repulsed by the sound of your voice. Somebody who, when you talking whatever shit you talking, it doesn't grate their nerves down to the to the point where they want to just scream. And that's why it shouldn't matter, ladies, where a man takes you on a first date. What's wrong with uh going to a food truck, grabbing a couple of tacos and walking through the park and eating the taco and talking shit and on a nice beautiful day, you know, and getting to know each other. And maybe you'll find out that you like each other. You like talking to each other. You like being around each other. Instead of you trying to make him spend up every dollar he got. So him saying, well, damn, if I got to spend $400 on a first date, I should get some pussy. And you thinking, well, just because you bought me dinner don't mean you should get no pussy. And playing that game. That's some bull. That's some that's some bull. You see, meeting at the coffee house, you might find out, talking about, you don't drink no coffee, order some tea, order some hot cider, get the goddamn glass of milk. I don't know. Just sit there. Orange juice. I'm sure they got something. Get you a muffin, and maybe, just maybe, y'all might find out you like each other. There's nothing wrong with it. What, you scared to tell your friends? Oh, we met at Starbucks, or we met at whatever, and we had a cup of coffee and we talked and we left from there and ended up going to have some lunch, and and whatever, whatever. Girl, you went to Starbucks? What? Who the hell is she? Some lonely sow just trying to tell you something. Who are you taking advice from? Don't let the internet and your messy friends have you single for no reason. Just because a man doesn't make $100,000 and can't afford to buy you luxury items doesn't mean he's not a good man and doesn't mean that you guys can't be together and be happy. And until you get that into your mind, you're probably going to be alone. And you're going to do what a lot of women do. You're going to sit up here and you're going to hold your teens away, and you're going to hold your 20s away, and you're going to hold your 30s away. And then at 40, 42, 43, your looks start to fade. You done been through God knows how many men. You got kids whose daddies don't even speak to your ass. Wouldn't pee on you if you was on fire. And now you want a good man. Now you won't just, oh, I just want a man that works and just gonna love me for me. Now you all humble after you've been ravished by the streets. And you wonder why homeboy don't really, he ain't digging you like that. Cause he can see it on you. He can see the streets have ravaged this one. Yeah, she's nice looking or whatever, but I can tell from her attitude. You listen, it comes out of you, that anger. The anger of all the dudes that you really liked and you ran them off some kind of way, or they wasn't shit, but you liked them anyway because you liked something about them, whatever that might been, that wasn't shit really. Now, here in the big picture of the things, now here you are, middle age, got gray hair, got a little stomach on you now. You know, the breasts ain't so perky no more. Ass got a little cottage cheese on it. You know, when you stand up too fast, sometimes your bones pop. And you know what happens to men when they get about 40 or so? They usually are at their top of their earning power or beginning to be because they've been working all this time, getting rejected, but working. Now you're looking at, oh man, I remember he used to like me back in high school. He don't like you now because he looking at you like, huh, man, I did used to like her, but look at her now. You know, we have got to get together. I'm not coming down on you, ladies. I'm just asking a question. Have you talked yourself and demanded yourself into being eternally single? And you don't have now. Listen, now it is true that you guys outnumber men about shit. I'm gonna say with the homosexuals and the half of homosexuals and the jailbirds and the unwashed, just the undesirable for whatever miscellaneous reason. Women probably in the black community, I'm gonna say you guys acceptable women that would be acceptable to the average guy. I'm gonna say y'all probably got a 6 to 1. There's only one acceptable man for every 6 acceptable women. So unfortunately, every woman's not gonna have a man. So I guess because so many men, it seems like it's more men than it is because y'all get hit on for sex so much. But really, it's one. It's about one man to every 6 women. It's about like it is when you go to a black college. When you go to a black college, you see about 7 or 8 women to every one man. But yet, all the women manage to get screwed. You notice that? Even though y'all out numbers like that, you all get your fair share of the dangalang. But you're all not going to have your own man. So when you're online making these declarations of what you got to do, what you're really doing is you're eliminating yourself from contention of anything serious. You're helping some woman who probably doesn't look as good as you do, but she also probably doesn't have as many miles on her as you do. And maybe she's a little shyer than you. And maybe she doesn't hang out at bars and clubs like you do. And maybe she don't really care about carrying whatever the expensive purse is. I don't even know the name of it. I'm gonna say Gucci, I guess. I don't know. Do what is it? Dooney and Burke? Oh, is that okay? Whatever. So you are really helping someone else who's not on that. Because I believe, and I honestly believe this, most men, if they had a choice between marrying the finest woman they can find or marrying the sweetest woman they can find, they'll take the sweetest woman every time, even if she ain't fine. I know some women who are not attractive, but they've never been without a man. If you look at her, you ain't looking at her like, ooh, wee. No, I'm gonna say she. I'm thinking of one lady that I know. She's below, like she's probably a 4 or 3.5. But she's got a husband and has had one, and they together, and they see, hey, to the outside world, they doing fine, which is all it need to be. And I know some beautiful women, some of them even family members. They hug a pillow every night. Unless Craig Boogie come through to put it down right quick, and then he jumping up, washing it off in the sink and leaving. Yep. Beautiful. Beautiful. You're like, man, and you know, I got some relatives that don't live in my state, and I really haven't never even met them, but you know, we're friends on social media or whatever, and they just I already know what the deal is without even having never met them. I look at them and I see the things that they post and everything, and I guess you shouldn't necessarily form an opinion through social media because sometimes people just assume things because of certain things that you post or whatever. Because I've had people do that to me. They assume certain things about me that is definitely not true, you know. But uh, from what it appears is that the young lady is well, her and some other young ladies are that live in her vicinity have all basically boned themselves out of contention of getting a serious relationship where they are. Yeah, they have went through everything, and most of the posts that they put up, it is in it pertains to having someone, but but it's mostly sexual type content. And I'm like, oh man, that's you know, and I'm talking about very very attractive. Don't have no problem. I'm sure getting nobody to sleep with her. I'm 100% sure of that. I mean, now I'm not where she's at, so I don't know. Maybe because sometimes now, have you ever known this? A woman that was beautiful or fine, but her reputation, maybe somebody put they might have said she had something or whatever, but guys didn't really mess with her that knew her, like they just wouldn't. Yeah, so it's like sometimes you don't never know. But like I say, I think you sometimes a woman, especially, you have to move. You gotta change your environment and reinvent yourself. Like a man might have to do for a job. If there are no jobs where he is, sometimes he got to get in touch with a relative and be like, hey, man, there ain't any jobs over there where you at? Well, is it all right? I might be able to get you on at where I'm working at. Just come on up, and it's that type of deal, you know. But, you know, sometimes you just got to take a chance and get out of where you're at because ain't nothing going to happen for you there. You unless somebody moves into town and you jump dead on them and hurry up and get with them before anybody tell them anything. I don't know, man. But yo, I just thought I'd ask that question because I'm kind of concerned because it's the future. The future, your kids need to see you in a good relationship, I believe. Really. I think your kids need to see more than people falling through. And I think that I don't think you should force step parenthood onto someone. Like, I think everything should be organic, you know, because I have went out with women that had kids and I didn't like their kids. So I knew, oh, I'm not finna kick it with her very long because I don't like her kid, you know. So sometimes people don't like your kids for whatever reason, So it's tough as a single mother to get a guy that really wants to be with you and your children, even if your kids are what you call good kids or whatever. it's a burden and a hassle. You have to think about it from a man's perspective. You coming in first. You have to cultivate a relationship with you. Now you got these other people, and you know, man, that's it's even overwhelming for me to think about. Shit. But ladies, this one was for you. I was just asking that question. Do you think that women are basically talking themselves into being eternally single? And I just want you to think about what I said on here today when you listen to this, and you don't have to. I know. Sometimes when men say anything about women, no matter how you try to phrase it or how nice you try to be or whatever, you're gonna get, oh, who is this? You ugly, you fat, you this, you that. Okay, well, oh, okay, but it doesn't mean that what I said wasn't true. And it doesn't mean that I'm not allowed to have my opinion, just like you can have your opinion. But since I'm Uncle Sean, my opinion means more than yours. Right, right. All right. Well, I think I've been on here long enough chewing your ear off. This has been another episode of Chopping It Up with Uncle Sean, the podcast. Yeah. And I'd like to thank everybody for liking, sharing, and commenting. And until next time, this is Uncle Sean signing off, and I'm going to leave you with peace.